here's a key for working with your team. So whether your team is a single VA, a group of outsourcers, employees, some combination of the above, partners, whatever it is, if you're working with other people where you are giving them work to do and they are performing in different ways, you need to truly understand this concept of delegation. Now, I know that most of you go, I already know about a delegation. It's you give people a task, you give them some time, you tell them the resources, you tell them what your expectations are, and then you allow them to go do that. Well, you know what? The thing about delegation is a lot of people think that simplistically, but delegation is one of the most powerful things that you do in managing a business. But here's another key, is a lot of people think that delegation is all about, it's just for, hey, efficiency, because we can have more people doing the job. Or maybe it's shifting jobs off of your shoulders so that you can focus on the important things that only you can be doing. It's not about just getting more done. And it's not just about doing a better job, though delegation does do all of those things. The key to delegation is that delegation, when done properly, is designed to build people, not just get stuff done. This delegation is how you build a team of people that can work together for medium to long term and create amazing companies, amazing products, and just take everything that you're doing to a higher level. So what ends up happening is when you truly start to understand delegation, what ends up happening is you get a huge mindset shift. And this mindset shift is really the key to getting to the point where delegation really works for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through several key principles of delegation that you need to understand that will help you, even if you're just giving a task off to a VA somewhere, or whether you are trying to build out everything. Okay, so here we go. Trying to get back in focus here. I hate it when webcams do this and they pull out of focus and you can't get them to come back in. See what I just did there? You move something, your hand, a car, let it focus on it, and then pull back. That focus moves with you, so now it comes back onto your face. Just a little tip in case you're ever having to work with webcams or anything that uses autofocus. Okay, so here's the overall principle. I'm not delegating a task. I'm training someone. I'm preparing this person for more responsibility. Now, I do realize, by the way, that sometimes we are literally just delegating a task. I just need somebody to do this. I've not seen evidence that this person needs to be with me long term, but I can give this task to this person and make that happen. I do understand that that does happen in this world. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is a long-term way at looking at your business and the help in your team so that you can create this amazing team thing going on. And so you're not just delegating a task, you're growing this person. And so when you start thinking about that, you start taking the tasks that you develop, that you are going to delegate, and you start looking at them totally differently. It's not just how do I get this task done, but how can I use this task to grow this person in their skill set, in their responsibilities, in their ability to step up and really do things that can move our organization together. All right. Now, number 2 recognition about delegation is that sometimes you're testing this person. When I say that, this is not pass, fail, punitive. Hey, I'm going to throw this task at you, and if you don't succeed, you're fired. That's not what I'm talking about here. We're testing here whether this area is right for them. See, here's one of the things that happens in the world, and you know this already because you deal with this all the time. Not everybody and nobody is inclined to everything. Okay? You as an entrepreneur oftentimes have to do everything, even whether you're good at it, interested or not. And so that's why we go out and start to develop team, is because this is something I'm just not good at. And I need somebody else to get good at it so that I can do the stuff that I am good at. And so not everybody is interested. They're not all entrepreneurs and they're not able to do everything. And so what we need to do is we need to find out, hey, what are their interests? What is their way of thinking? How do they think? What are they good at thinking about? So, for example, there's some people who are specifists and other people who are generalists. I'm a generalist. I think big principle. I think here's where we want to go. My wife oftentimes jokes, Don says, we should go on a vacation to Bali. And then she has to do everything to get us there. And I'm embarrassed to admit it, but part of that is because she is much more of a specificist and I am much more of a generalist. I miss the details. I miss those things that need to be done, but so you need to recognize, is this person that you're delegating to a specificist or a generalist? Whichever one they are, that's good. Just give them responsibilities and tasks that are either specific or generalist, and don't push them to be what they are not naturally. Here's another example of that. Some people are really good at numbers, and other people just aren't. Now, for the education system has decided with STEM that everybody has to be good at numbers. But you know what? We all know that some people just naturally take to them. They get it. They understand. They see the relationships between the numbers. I'm not talking math here. I'm just talking some people get numbers and some people don't. And if you take somebody who just doesn't get numbers and you force them into numbers, they're going to struggle. Now, everyone needs to get forced into analytics, looking at the numbers of what's happening, but don't make someone who they're not a numbers person, be a numbers person as their job, or they'll just be miserable and they won't do well at it. Here's another one. Are they good at copywriting or are they not? Okay, I have a person right now who I am convinced would be good at copywriting. They are convinced that they're not. And so I've tried delegating a couple of tasks around copywriting to this person, and they just keep not coming back. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to have to admit that this person just isn't good at copywriting. Or more importantly, this person believes they're not good at copywriting. I'm convinced they are actually good at copywriting, but they've got a lifetime of having their writing be seen as less than adequate by other people. And so I'm just going to have to give up on this and go on. Are they good at design or are they not? Now, if you're not good at design, you will have trouble judging whether someone else is good at design. Same thing with copywriting, same thing as numbers. So this is a key thing here, is that if you're not good at something, you're not going to do a good job of judging whether someone else is good at it or not. And you should know that. And so you may have to turn to outside sources to evaluate the performance of someone. Okay. And here's the other thing. Sometimes they don't know the answer either, whether this is something that they are good, that they would naturally be good at or not. And all of us have had an instance where all of a sudden something's happened and we go, that was cool. I really liked doing that. I had no idea would be any good at that. And so we need to recognize that sometimes these things come out of the blue, and sometimes we test people by giving them projects like I tried to do with the copywriting thing with the person that I was talking about. Sometimes they fail it, sometimes they don't. And it's like, okay, I learned something, and we go on. Number 3, sometimes you're auditioning someone for a role in your company, okay? I'm thinking of making so-and-so my such and such in my company. All right, so then you ask yourself the questions. What task could I delegate to them as an audition? without telling them that they're auditioning for that role. So you take some of the tasks that you're going to have done in that role and give a temporary delegation to them to do that task and see if they are any good at it and show propensity to get good at it. Because remember, no one's good right at the beginning. They've got to get good. And so you got to give them enough time to prove that they're good. But some people just aren't going to pass that audition. And so you need to have in this process a predefined criteria for success where you're saying, okay, this is how I will judge whether you're any good or not. And you don't necessarily tell them that, but this is what you do as you audition them in the process. Number 4, delegation is not just tasks. We tend to think it is, but every time you put somebody in a position in your company, marketing director, operations director, marketing assistant, email person, okay, you're delegating to them. And so you need to think about that, because it's an important realization that delegation happens with responsibilities too, and you need to let that play out. So in delegation, we talk about the principle of showing them all the elements and then allowing them to do it the way that they will come back. So you need to be giving them freedom so that they can. So you state what you want to have done, not how. Unless how is already in a predefined set of standard operating procedures in your company. If that's true, then you say, here's your standard operating procedure, go to it. And by the way, if you can figure out a better standard operating procedure, SOP, to do this, by all means, we want you to do that, okay? So you're stating what, not how. You're giving them objectives, not direction. Every one of us has probably been in a job where we just felt smothered by somebody because you need to be managing to results, not smothering them, not telling them, here's the way it must be done. Okay? And you all know how stressful it is when you're in that kind of situation where you got a boss hanging over your shoulders telling you how the way to be done. So if you're not ready to do that, to truly give other people that set of operations, hey, don't delegate that task. Better, learn to let go and delegate. So I just said, if you're not ready to let go, then don't delegate. Better, learn to let go and delegate, because you need to do this in your life to build the team, to build the business you want. Remember, different does not mean wrong. A new way of doing things does not mean it's wrong. They need to make their mark in the process, and you need to let them. So I strongly encourage you that delegation is worth studying in your life, and it's worth doing. What have you found that really works in delegation and that doesn't? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.